Hello, welcome back to I Filter Truth podcast by Grace. We're going to now go into another series that I have written also. And we're going to talk about in this podcast the obsessed stalker who refused to stop. Dark spiritual suspense, obsession, stalking, mental instability, coerced behavior, witchcraft like manipulation, addiction, civil rival, enabling abuse, protection, wrongdoing, and the excuses that keep them alive. So my main characters are Real Soulless, a survivor who mistakes vigilance for safety. Damon Voss, obsessed pursuer convinced fixation is devotion. Nor Vale, siblings who rivalry marks inheritance, violence. Cecilia Thorne, enabler protecting wrongdoing in the name of a family. Micah Doom, cancer drawn into more compromise. Iris Crow claims certain behaviors can function like spiritual bindings. So these are my characters for of the obsessed stalker who refused to stop series. Let's get into season 1. The Watcher Outside the Gate. Episode 1. Rhea receives gifts from a stalker who predicts her movements. Episode 2. Damon insists pursuit is protection, not harm. Episode 3. Nor turns sibling rival into sabotage. Episode 4. Cecile hides escalating abuse to keep her family intact. Episode 5. Iris warned obsession may behave like a binding. The Watcher has been invited through tolerated boundary breaches. It's called itself protection. Lock the door. You keep explaining anyway. Harm often survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalty. Let's get into season 2. The Gospel of Excuses. Episode 1. Each harmful act is defended by a reason that sounds compassionate. Episode 2. Michael sees enabling preserved abuse under more language. Episode 3. Damon frames coerce as love. Episode 4. Real mistakes hypervigilance for spiritual discernment. Episode 5. Nor learns excuses can inherit violence across generations. Excuses were sheltering the predator. It's called itself protection. Lock the door, you keep explaining anyway. Harm often survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalty. Let's continue. Season 3. The House of Altered Loyalties. Drugs and alcohol blur witness and denial. Episode 2. Cecilia protects wrongdoing until reality fractures. Episode 3. Iris traces rituals of control resembling witchcraft behavior. Episode 4. Damon begins appearing where no one told him to go. Episode 5. Real questions whether the stalker is one man or a pattern. Loyalty has become a hunted contract. It's called itself protection. Lock the door. You keep explaining anyway. Harm often survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalty. Season 4. Siblings under the binding. Nor discover rivalry begins around a concealed family crime. Episode 2, Damon manipulates siblings against one another. Episode 3, Michael uncovers abuse justified as discipline. Episode 4, Iris claimed the binding feeds through secrecy and divided loyalties. Episode 5, Rio breaks a silence that destabilized the force. The feud was fueling what pursued them. It's called itself protection. Lock the door. You keep explaining anyway. Harm often survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalties. Season 5, The Court Protecting Wrongdoing. A hidden network protects abusers through publishing excuses. Cecilia testified against the system she served. Episode 3, Damon insists harm is caused by those who resist him. Episode 4, Micah exposes how protection can become complicity. Episode 5, Rio refuses rescue that requires surrender. The system survived by making protection indistinguishable from control. It's called itself protection again. Lock the door. You keep explaining anyway. Harm often survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalty. I'm having fun with this. Season 6, What Refused to Let Go. The episode learns obsession weakened when named without bargaining. Episode 2, Nora chooses accountability over rivalry. Episode 3, Cecilia breaks when enabling a personal cause. Episode 4, Damon confronts whether he served a force larger than obsession. Episode 5, Rio discovers safety is not hyper-control, but rightly ordered boundaries. The stalker was also a pattern thriving wherever harm was an excuse. It's called protecting yourself again. Lock the door. You keep on explaining anyway. Harm often survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalties. And the more of the story of this series of Stalker, Obsessed Stalker, is harm survives through excuses, secrecy, and misplaced loyalty. Boundaries, truth, and accountability can interrupt what obsessions rehearsals. What refuses to let go? Obsession weakens when named without bargaining. Boundaries, rightfully ordered, can interrupt what excuses feed. The miracle is the truth can restore boundaries where fear distorted them. The pattern strives when not defended. Stop feeding what pursues you. This is your host, Grace. Our Future Podcast. Next season. Thank you for listening and joining. Peace, love, and much blessings.